All right, folks, welcome to Insight here on Consolidated Channel 18. As always, I'm your host, Brock White, joined by the Dickinson Press's managing editor, Dustin Monkey. Dustin, how are you?
Good.
We are back from a little break.
Back from vacation.
Took the 4th off. We had stuff to do. Dustin was on vacation. We had friends and family, a lot going on, but it's good to be back here on Insight with you folks. Joining us today in studio, the Vice President of the Fallen Soldiers of North Dakota, Mr. Bill Pollen, to talk about Real American Jam Part 2 this weekend.
Exciting.
At the Buffalo Gap Guest Ranch. The big benefit for the soldiers here in North Dakota. Kick things off, though, as always, a look at the weekend review, the big stories around the area the past week. We kick it off with the biggest one on Sunday. The city of Killdeer, Dunn County, was hammered, absolutely hammered by a crazy, crazy hailstorm.
It was nuts.
It hit Fairfield, it hit Killdeer. It looked like a war zone. I've never seen anything like that from hail.
I was on my way back from Montana from our vacation on Sunday night, and I started getting texts saying, "Hey, Killdeer got hammered. You know, they got 3-inch wide hail, and it looks like it snowed up there." So call Sydney Muck, our multimedia editor. She'd been working on the Dickinson storm story from Saturday night and
the big
Sunday
wind
morning.
came through.
Yep. So she'd written a little story on that, and I called her up and said, "Hey, you still want to do some work? Because you need to call Killdeer, and you need to call Denise Brew, the emergency manager up there, Denise, you've always been great to us and great to get in touch with." And she was again on Sunday night and told us everything that happened. We had a little story for the web Sunday, and then for Tuesday's paper, Sydney went up there and kind of surveyed the damage, and just terrible.
Oh, the nursing home got hammered.
Nursing home, sides of all these homes, cars, basically everybody that was sitting outside.
Shredded, shattered, gone.
Yeah. Basically every car that was sitting outside.
Yeah, luckily no injuries, no deaths. That's the biggest thing.
Yep.
You can always put new siding back on, put new windows in a house. But just a crazy, crazy storm, and the weather was just horrible all weekend long in the area. It really was.
Yeah, and thankfully I missed it.
Flooded underpass again, of course, in Dickinson.
Yeah, I saw a picture of someone.
I
saw a picture of someone taking a kayak through the underpass. Don't do that. That's not safe.
It's just leave. It's blocked
I did
off.
the police blotter. I did the police blotter for us this last few days, and nobody called it in. So
also, for those of you that are on the city's case about that, there is plans in the future for a new stormwater management system in the town. So
it's something that's
coming in the budget. It's in the roadmap.
Andrew Hafner's kind of working on that story, a long range story here. By the end of the month, we'll have.
If you follow the city commission meetings, you know that is next year.
Yeah, I went to a city commission meeting where the plan was. They talked about the plan to spend millions and millions of dollars for the next 30 years, basically
revamping
on stormwater improvements, and most of it is on the south side of town and everything south of the interstate, because honestly, that's the older part of town, and that's where it collects. It's it's downstream, if you will, and it'll be coming down the line.
So keep your eyes on the story from Hafner, and then follow your city commission minutes as well too. Get the real story of what's going on for sure. Another story locally, Patterson Lake experiencing a little fungus, a little algae, blue-green algae. And
it's all over the country.
Don't swim. It's in a lot of lakes in the area for sure. But
country. I watched the story. I watched it. Well, we haven't heard of anywhere else in North Dakota, unfortunately. But Patterson Lake has a knack for developing blue-green algae simply because of its geographic location, how it's built. It happens. It could be worse. Trust me, it could be much worse. I read a story over the last week when I was on vacation about this lake down in Florida that is just covered, overwhelmed.
Is it the humidity and the geographical location that does it, or what is it?
If I was a biologist, I wouldn't be on this show with us.
That's true.
But I'm not sure exactly what does it. But a big thing is it's unsafe.
You can't swim in there.
It causes animals that swim in there to die, and it causes human beings to get sick and develop very serious illnesses and long-term illnesses.
So in your article, the city said they're looking at maybe getting Solar Bee out there with some pumps to clean it up. Water will help dissipate the algae. Fresh rainwater will.
Yeah, and it did.
So we got some over the weekend.
They believe it did over the weekend. It did dissipate it a little bit, but not all of it, obviously. And it would take a Noah's Ark type of flood probably to get rid of it completely naturally.
You and yours and your pets and your friends stay out of Patterson until they give the go-ahead, the all-clear.
Absolutely. Take a boat in there, I think.
That's
take a
fine.
boat in there, but just don't swallow the water.
Ingest it, or you get really, really sick. It's not good. Dustin, we talk about this way too much in the show for my taste, but it's just the sign of the times. It is what it is. You had a great monkey business on it last week before you left. Drugs and dope in the Bakken. And now everyone thinks, okay, the oil boom has slowed down. The problem's going away. Well, the fact is, the street value of the drugs have gotten lower, and they're bringing more than ever in through trafficking through black market to the area.
Right.
And meth is just incredibly rampant.
Meth, heroin, fentanyl.
Fentanyl, which will kill you in one
Cocaine
shot.
Still here.
And just the drugs that are being laced with fentanyl and those things, killing people.
That'll kill a guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to this presentation put on by Rob Fontenot of the BCI. He's also with Southwest Narcotics Task Force. He's, for me, he's a person to listen to. He's a person that, he's a big believer that there's no such thing as a non-violent drug offender out there. You go and you buy an ounce of pot, you are part of a violent drug offense scheme somewhere down the line. The way that he describes it is so smart and so intelligent. It makes sense that somewhere along the line, violence had to be committed to get you that drug.
Illegally from the black market.
Illegally, yes. But the crux of the story that I wrote for the Sunday, July 3rd newspaper, I believe it was, was that the prices of drugs in Southwest North Dakota are going down with the Bakken's departure.
Which makes it more accessible to...
Absolutely, they're just more prevalent.
Yeah.
The Bakken may have went away, but the drugs stayed. And the drug
then
dealers
probably
stayed,
worse.
and the gangs stayed, whether it's biker gangs, whether it's street gangs, and they all have a presence here somewhere. The cops know it, the BCI knows it. They're not out there, like they said, the good quote was, they're not out there waving their flag.
No.
But they're definitely
busy. They're
here,
active
they're
in the
busy.
area.
They're taking deliveries, things like that, and then they're distributing it amongst local drug dealers. So this was a story that did gain quite a bit of traction. I heard, I was out in central Montana on my vacation, and I heard about it out there from people that knew me and said, "Hey, boy, I read your story." So it gained traction throughout the upper Midwest, it sounds like, and that, obviously I'm proud about that. I'm happy about that. But I hope that people around here, that people around here understand how big of an issue that is. That when the meth price drops 75% over a span of 2 years, because there's so much of it around that it's so easily accessible, that they're not dealing in grams anymore. They're dealing in ounces and larger.
And you see
weight
too.
segments.
You see too in the blotters between us and Bismarck and other areas.
Oh yeah.
The street value of being on the people are more and more each time.
Oh yeah.
That's higher amounts. There's $10,000.
We had one that was $10,000.
Yeah.
$10,000 in meth
Huge
found
amounts.
on someone else.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, a few years ago that'd have been way more than $10,000. That'd have been $50,000 probably, $40,000. So just watch out for it. If you see something, say something. If you see people using drugs, or you think maybe using drugs, say something. I mean, and honestly, I do the police blotter a lot for us. That's how things happen. People see someone in a vehicle, or they see two people walking down the street, talk for 2 seconds, shake hands, and walk away, and it just looked all sketchy. Cops in our town have caught people off of that. They have used that information. Maybe it doesn't happen that day or the next day or the next day. They have used that information, to catch these subjects who are dealing in drugs.
Just the idea of the stranglehold meth has in the area on some people, just totally disheartening and frightening.
Absolutely.
And
the fact that we don't have enough addiction counselors either.
We've talked about this in the show since our first episode with Rich Warner, and to this day, that there is a full-blown substance abuse problem in the state, and we're not addressing it the right way.
Right.
And something's got to give eventually. And
Absolutely.
I hope it is in our communities and our ways of lives that give. Because if we don't get in front of this, it could really, really be bad.
Trust me, and I've been to some towns where it has gotten ahead of they never got ahead of it.
It's horrible.
It took down the towns basically.
It ruins it inside out.
There are towns and I'll just say I was in one this weekend where the economy crashed, drugs took over, people turned a blind eye to it, and now there's no stopping it.
And who needs to be more afraid too are the satellite communities, the smaller ones.
Right.
Because it's cheaper to live there than get in there, and there's less law enforcement.
And there's less
eyes on what's happening, and then really things can set in, and it becomes your cousin and your friends and their friends, and then these houses become these hubs, and it's a slippery slope. And if people don't get in front of it, and if you don't say something when you see something, it's just going to be really
I'm afraid
bad.
after listening to Rob speak last month that the next thing that's going to hit our area big time is fentanyl.
Which is a killer.
Which is a killer. It's a synthetic drug.
It's killing the east side.
Literally killing people.
Rate.
Literally killing people. Meth messes you up. Pot gets you high. Cocaine gets you high. Can mess you up. Heroin laced with fentanyl literally kills you.
There's a lot of that happening.
It's done.
And there's also other things laced with fentanyl. Fentanyl. You hear people one time, one hit, whatever they're doing,
gone.
Done. And it's the east side. 4 or 5
especially
deaths
fentanyl
in the past few months out there alone on that.
Yeah, and I think our colleagues out in Fargo, Robin Hubner, Dickinson native, has done a great job of describing that in past stories that we have run. the fentanyl problem out on the east side of the state. So I hope people have read those and kind of understand. If you haven't read them, just search fentanyl, FENTANYL on our website. Those stories by Robin will come up. And
it's a horrifying idea.
It's a bad deal. Honestly, if you search drugs on the Dickinson Press website, we have a tag for drugs. You can click it. If you go down to any story that's tagged with drugs, you click that word drugs, it'll bring you every story that we've written on drugs since that new website came about. It's amazing how many we have tagged with the word drugs and crime.
Well, we just hope that we can get the right people on the ground to
Absolutely.
start fighting this and get it cleaned up out of the communities for sure.
Yep.
We'll take a quick break and come back with our guest in studio this week, Bill Polnick, to talk about the Real American Jam and the Fallen Soldiers of North Dakota at Buffalo Gap this weekend.
Consolidated is committed to providing advanced network systems and service to the business world, staying ahead of the curve by offering digital technology with voice over IP, Ethernet circuits, hosted telephone systems, as well as cloud-based networking. GNet fiber technology allows us to offer internet speeds up to 1 gig, making your network more efficient. Our sales and technical team take pride in providing state-of-the-art service to our customers. At Consolidated, we're here to listen and offer the most efficient solutions for your business.
All right, folks, welcome back to Inside. Joining us today in studio, the Vice President of the Fallen Soldiers of North Dakota, Mr. Bill Polnick. Bill, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, Brock. Thank you, Dustin. Hello.
You bet, because coming up this weekend is Real American Jam Part 2 this summer, 2016, the big festival out at Buffalo Gap Guest Ranch. Bill, first of all, tell us really quick what Fallen Soldiers of North Dakota is and what the Jam does for that group.
About a year ago, Ole Goldberg and Cecilia Goldberg and everybody involved at Buffalo Gap Guest Ranch, they wanted to have a concert and they wanted to do it for a cause. And so we formed the Fallen Soldiers of North Dakota. And last year we had 2 soldiers wounded in the line of duty from North Dakota. They each received $25,000. And we're going to do it again this year. We've got a soldier who has been picked by our board of directors. And that soldier will also receive $25,000. Now, to raise that kind of money, we're going to have a little party, another concert.
Just a little party,
yeah.
Just a little party with Joe Diffie and some of your closest friends.
Yeah.
Ned Ledoux and Corb Lund and a host of other local artists are going to be there. Jesse Veter, Bob Peterman from Montana, Cannonball Mafia, they're down from the Mott region. We've got a terrific lineup this year. We're pretty excited.
Fantastic.
I guess, talk to us a little bit more about the concerts. Obviously, that's what draws people there. Talk about Joe Diffie showing up on, is it Saturday night?
I believe, Saturday night Joe Diffie plays. Nice. At Buffalo Gap Guest Ranch, there's just down from where the steakhouse is, down to the, it'd be to the northwest. There's a beautiful open prairie in between the Badlands. We've built a stage. We've got a concession area. We have restroom facilities with showers built in, and that all was made possible through a grant through North Dakota Tourism. Buffalo Gap received a grant last year for about $280,000 to do improvements to the concert site. What that essentially says is the powers that be that allowed for this grant to go through saw the potential that Buffalo Gap Guest Ranch does have, and the future looks mighty bright for future concerts.
It's a stunning scene out there with the Badlands as your backdrop, that big hill down the side there.
Yes,
and the stage itself, and it's a real neat thing. And we've talked about this before. It could almost become a Red Rocks almost.
We're hoping
for Medora and for Buffalo Gap. It really could be. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're looking forward to it.
So things kick off Friday evening.
Friday evening. We've got Sawdust and Blackbird and Boston Steve. Your friend Boston Steve.
Got to bring Boston Steve in. Yeah.
There is a rumor going around that we may solicit the crowd to give their approval for a name change for Boston Steve. He's been here long enough.
Bismarck Bob.
Buffalo Steve.
I like Buffalo Steve.
So he's going to perform. And then Corb Lund from Canada, who, I don't know, how would you describe his music?
Corb Lund is he's Rocky Mountain folk.
There you go.
Yeah,
and he speaks to the agricultural people. He speaks to the oil people. He's got a song called Roughest Neck Around, and so looking forward to him. And then Bart Crow, he begged us to book him again this year, and he will wrap things up on Saturday evening. And then the music on Saturday starts at noon with some remarkable young talent. Jory Ellenbecker, 20-year-old college student from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, will be performing. Carly Packinger, who is 13 years old, and will sing anything from Ave Maria to I Love Rock and Roll
Wow.
to A Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. I
Wow.
mean, this girl is
Talented and sounds like she has range, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to hear a sample of her Thursday night at First on First.
Yeah.
And several other artists through the day. Jesse Veter will perform. And then Joe Diffie and Ned Ledoux closes out the night on Saturday night.
Ned Ledoux, of course, the son of legendary artist Chris Ledoux.
Right,
And he drummed in Western Underground for quite a while, hasn't he?
Yes, and
Yeah.
at Chris Ledoux Days in Casey, Wyoming, a few weeks back, Western Underground announced that they're no more. They're turning everything over to Ned Ledoux.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's kind
And
of.
Ned sounds like he is kind of not so much the spitting image, but voice-wise, the spitting image of Chris.
Boy,
Ledoux,
and
huh?
as he matures, you listen to his music.
like
He's
his
got a
dad.
new song called The Hawk that is basically a song about the spirit of his dad flying around the ranch back in Wyoming. And you listen to that song, yes, you're right. You do hear some hints of dad's
It's a mighty
voice in
shadow
there.
his dad cast, but
Right,
he carries his legacy
right.
on well, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sunday is the third day, the final day. Got some stuff going on that day as well.
Yes, we have the North Dakota Worship Project featuring Tess Howie that is going to do they're going to have a service on the stage. At 12:30, the Sanford AirMed helicopter will be landing
Wow.
at the concert site, and they'll have photo opportunities. You can meet the pilots who all have a military background. And also, we are going to be, with the help of the American Legion in Beach, we are going to be raffling off a ride for two on the helicopter through the Badlands that day.
Oh, that afternoon. Very
Right,
cool.
right,
Awesome.
with all the money going toward the fallen soldiers of North Dakota. Then we will have our military presentation. You'll meet the recipient of the $25,000. And we are going to announce a name change for the fallen soldiers of North Dakota.
wow.
What we've learned over the last year and a half or so was fallen means killed.
Yeah.
Soldiers is specific to the United States Army. And so we wanted to be more well-rounded. So we're going to announce our new name that I am so excited about, and hopefully our logo will be up on the Jumbotron
Something
as we move forward.
Comprehensive for all combat veterans.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And their families and
Yeah.
people that
Affected by it, yeah.
suffered a setback due to
Their service.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
It sounds, Bill, like this one is going off with a little bit, kind of a little bit better than last year. Obviously, there were some hiccups last year in the first year of it, and we won't go into all that right here. But
Last-minute drama.
Last-minute drama, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. But it seems like this year, everything has been really on point, on schedule, and obviously getting Joe Diffie in here, that's going to be a big draw.
Well, first of all, Dustin, thank you for noticing. It was a nightmare. That's all behind us, and the name change Sunday afternoon will signify a new era for the fallen soldiers of North Dakota under the new moniker. And we're hoping. I mean, we've got a great board of directors, and if you don't mind, I'd like to mention them. Cecilia Goldberg is the president of the Fallen Soldiers of North Dakota. I'm vice president. Esther Meyer is secretary treasurer. And our directors include Dave Anderson, who's a retired brigadier general with the North Dakota Army National Guard, Tony Anderson from Williston, David Logish from Dickinson, who was so instrumental in getting the Starr County Veterans Memorial established, and a Vietnam veteran. He is on our board of directors. And Mark Goldberg, and also Michael Shaw, who is with the Guardians Foundation. And that entity is whom we've done a pass-through over the last year in order to allow us to raise the money.
Yeah. As a nonprofit,
Right,
yeah.
right. So we've got a great board. We had our organizational meeting, and we're pretty excited about moving forward.
Awesome. So if folks want to get tickets, want to come out, what's the best way to get that taken care of?
If you want tickets before you arrive, you can go to realamericanjam.com. They're also available at Buffalo Gap Guest Ranch. I'll have some available at First on First. And yes, you can get them at the gate too. It will be a little bit higher price at the gate, but there's plenty of tickets available.
You can buy like a 3-day pass or a camping pass.
Yep.
Yes.
Because people bring their RVs out there, their campers.
There are dry campsites still available, meaning no hookups.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of campsites available for that. Your tent, your RV, what have you.
Sure.
The motel and the full service campground have been booked for some time now.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of room. There's going to be concessions and food available, and really looking forward to a great weekend. Mother Nature, please work with
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
Please cooperate for sure.
And whether you're a John Deere Green guy or an International Harvester or Case New Holland, whatever you drive, put on the John Deere Green, go out and see Joe Diffie. I want to go out there. I don't know if I'm going to have time. Just got back from a long vacation, but I'd love to go out there and see it if I get a chance.
We're looking forward to it. We've got a videographer that is going to be there. We're going to have footage of this. If you can't join us, there'll be ways that you can see a record of what we do this weekend. And also, like I mentioned, the future looks very, very bright indeed. We've had, I'm not going to mention names because I will forget one or two, but the sponsorship for this, the people that have stepped forward that have wanted to attach their name to it, it is just humbling. You know, you can imagine Joe Diffie doesn't perform for $1,000, and there are expenses involved. And gosh, so many sponsors have came to us. We didn't have to solicit them.
That's great.
And so we're very, very tickled and very optimistic about the future of this organization and the venue itself.
Awesome. There you go. So this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Buffalo Gap Guest Ranch. Go to realamericanjam.com for more info. And Bill, I hope it's a huge turnout and a great party out there.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the article in the press. I appreciate it.
You bet, buddy.
And looking forward to doing this again. Thank you.
We'll come back after this. Look at the week ahead right here on Insight.
A bundle from Consolidated is your local choice for internet, TV, and phone at a better value. Our internet is now faster than ever with GNet technology. Get affordable, consistent speeds now up to 1 gig. Our state-of-the-art TV connections deliver more HD choices and convenient DVR options, including TiVo. Our local phone service keeps you in touch for less, all backed by exceptional 24-hour support. Make the local choice for a better value by bundling. Call or visit Consolidated online today.
All right, folks, welcome back to Insight. Time for a look at the week ahead. Full disclosure, we are filming this early on Tuesday due to some issues out of our hands. But we just got a breaking news alert that it sounds like Wednesday afternoon, you'll see this on Thursday, so it's probably announced by now. Dalrymple will announce a special session for the House to get together in August to get together and look over the budget and revise things. And you know, I got to give the Democrats credit here. They were calling for this months ago, and everyone laughed in their face, kind of.
Yeah, and I kind of
and
after some conversations with Rich Wardner in late June, it sounded like this was coming.
Sure.
You know, he was one of the people. He's always one of the people. It's like, we're not going into a special session unless we absolutely have to.
I think we
Sounds like we
have
absolutely have to at this point. So we'll try to get Rich on the show here and describe.
We should, because he's a great,
great.
He really knows how to articulate what's happening in the budget.
So, like I said, it's early when we're filming this, but you'll know more by checking out the press website or the Dickinson Press newspaper. Obviously, Thursday we'll have that story, and I'm sure we'll have further stories on what the special session will mean. Mike Nowatzki, our Capitol Bureau reporter for Forum News Service, is based right there. His office is literally feet away from all these from the House chambers and Senate chambers, so he can walk over there. He knows everybody down there, and he's got a great reputation. He's a great reporter for us. So we'll just follow his stories about the special session and leading up to it and during the special session.
Can I play political conspiracy theory for a second?
Sure.
With this whole deal? Do you think maybe some people that were opposing the special session were doing so because they wanted to keep the positive spin with the Stenjib campaign going at the time?
Oh, very possible.
Think a little bit that's true?
Very possible.
Yeah. Because Stenjib's motto was, we're going to keep business as usual. We're going to stay the course, which means that there's no problem with the budget. There is no deficit. They hated that D word. And now that Burgum has got in there and he's won the candidacy for the GOP.
Oh, absolutely.
You think maybe people are like, okay, there is a little bit of a problem. It's time to clean things up, maybe.
Absolutely. Let me tell you one thing that the state can do to not get into a deficit: 30 miles of road construction on I-94. Out of 60 miles.
Every summer.
Every summer.
Every summer. It's the same piece of
Real
land.
deal, North Dakota Department of Transportation. We can deal with a few bumps.
It always seems like it's the same piece of interstate,
I went to western Montana basically for my road trip with my wife and my son.
Tell us about your 4th of July trip. You went to the
that's what I was trying to say, is the only road construction we ran into outside of White Sulphur Springs, Montana, which, like a lot of towns in North Dakota, kind of sits on a highway runs through it. They're redoing that part of the highway, which is White Sulphur's Main Street. Okay, they're just doing curb gutter, the whole thing, replacing water lines, everything, right? It's just a project that probably was coming for years down the line. Outside of North Dakota, that was the only road construction we ran into, and I drove thousands of miles.
If you drive from here to the border, the Minnesota border, from Dickinson to Minnesota border, you will encounter probably, I'm not exaggerating, I bet you encounter 80 to 100 miles of road construction.
Oh, go west from Dickinson, there's 30, if you drive in from Beach to Dickinson every day, I'm sorry. I feel for you. It's bad, and I don't have a monkey business this week. This is kind of my monkey business segment, I guess, is that the road construction. Maybe the Department of Transportation needs to pump the brakes on it. No pun intended, because literally it took us like an hour and 15 minutes to get from Dickinson to Beach. That's a 50-minute drive.
The state's chewed up. The whole state's just like ripped up right now. And down by Bowman, up this way, Beach, the whole works.
We don't need, and in my opinion, I credit the Department of Transportation for trying to fix our roads. We have better roads in Montana, and that's fine. But we don't need to fix those roads all the time, every other summer. And at the same time, 15 miles at a clip.
Maybe
you get behind a camper or a truck,
you're
going 50 miles an hour for 15 miles on a freeway.
Doesn't it seem, maybe I'm being naive here, that there's that stretch between like Taylor and Hebron, it's always being fixed every year? Doesn't it seem like that?
Somewhere between Gladstone and Gladstone and Taylor or Nurturton always seems to be being fixed. Yeah, it seems like
I spend my weekends on the road going to gigs all over the state.
Yeah, you know the roads better than most people.
And I've been doing this for 12 years, and it seems like that piece of interstate, it's always under repair. I don't know what it is.
It always seems like there's something in between Belfield and Medora that's always under repair too. And in my opinion, hey, that's our tourist destination for the state. We're trying to get tourists here to the western North Dakota. Let's make it easy for people to get there, and maybe that's what they're trying to do here. But it just seems like you do construction one year, then you get a year off of it, if that. And then the next year, I mean, it just seems like one side of the interstate or the other is being worked on, and it's frustrating.
Get your act together.
Well, in my opinion, kind of going back to my original topic, is if we're facing a budget shortfall, let's maybe pump the brakes on how much we're spending on road construction.
Oh, it's insane.
I mean,
it's got to be.
We have not had bad winters the last 2 or 3 winters that have torn up our roads. We have not. And so tell me again why. I mean, obviously, if we're going to fix roads in western North Dakota, let's fix the little roads. Let's not fix the big roads. The freeways are fine. We have good interstates compared to most places, and they do a great job with that.
Tried to Minnesota once.
Yeah, drive in Minnesota is
choppy.
And Montana has places. I mean, I'll say this: from Montana, from here to Billings, is pretty solid road, but good. They've done some work there over the years, but they don't do it at 15 miles at a time. So that's my little 2 cents for the week. That's my monkey business for the week right there, I think.
Yeah. So you had a nice little 4th of July. You're out.
Yeah, we went out 4-wheeling and camping in the mountains in Montana, and went and visited our friend Patrick Hope. Former Dickinson attorney, used to write for us a video game column. He and his girlfriend, fiance, Ashley.
Sure.
She was a professor at DSU. She got a job at Carroll. They moved to Helena, Montana. We went and visited them. I'd never been to Great Falls, Montana. I went up to Great Falls.
Yeah. You see the falls?
Yeah, we went to the falls. We did that whole thing, and it was really very pretty area.
It is gorgeous out that way.
Went on a lot of Lewis and Clark style
I jumped the cliff
places.
up there when I was 18 sometime in Great Falls.
Really?
Yeah, I did a big cliff dive with a buddy out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
We went to the gates. If you ever have a chance to go to Helena, Montana, go north of Helena about 10-15 miles. Go to the gates of the mountains. It's a 2-hour boat tour. Up the Missouri River, in between, basically it's the gates of the mountains. It's big mountain cliffs, and a lot of wildlife foliage. I saw a bald eagle. We saw 2 immature bald eagles. It's one thing I guess I didn't really realize is that bald eagles aren't born with the white heads. Oh. It takes years for them to develop that. So we saw these giant eagles that were brown and like a bald eagle, but they didn't have the white head, and those were immature bald eagles. Our tour guide
said. It's got to go gray like me. That's me too.
Yeah, just like you.
An immature brown
takes a little time.
Yeah, it's got to let it go gray, let it go natural.
But it was a beautiful. I had never seen deer fawns up close like that. There was 2 families of deer, and it just
was like a real nice 4th.
Oh, it was a beautiful trip. Got a lot of. Sarah and I like to take in a lot of outdoors stuff, and just. I guess the word is just different sights and things like that.
Nature's beauty.
Nature's beauty. Yeah. And like I said, Gates of the Mountains it's a hidden gem in Montana. I don't know if it's hidden too much, but it's a gem that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. It was a beautiful morning, quiet, no wind. It ended up raining right after we got done with our tour, so that was great. And
good timing, yeah.
Good timing. The wheat looks great up in the Golden Triangle of Montana, so not too good for our farmers here. But
that is beautiful land up there.
Yeah,
it's breathtaking
near
country.
Great Falls and that Golden Triangle area. Sorry, farmers, North Dakota, but it looks really, really good up there. Yeah. Take it from me, if a farm kid, I know what good Durham and good wheat look like, and it looked good.
I'm glad you had a good vacation, well deserved. Been a busy man with everything going on in the paper and all
busy
that stuff.
Busy guy, and we got
usual stories.
More busyness coming.
For sure, that's right, for sure. I want to thank our guest this week in studio, Bill Polnick, the Fallen Soldiers of North Dakota, the Real American Jam. Check out realamericanjam.com for more info. It's all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Buffalo Gap Ranch.
Go see Joe Diffie on Sunday, Saturday night.
Joe.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to go, but I'd love to go.
I know, I got a wedding on that night, but Thanks again to Bill. We'll see you guys next week right here on Insight.